Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on the topics important to you. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Today we are diving into a critical issue affecting communities across Jamaica, solid waste management in the aftermath of severe weather events. Joining us is the Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Audley Gordon. He's here to shed light on how the NSWMA is tackling the challenge of debris cleanup and garbage collection. We'll explore the strategies, challenges faced, and what residents can do to support these efforts. Welcome to Get the Facts, Mr. Gordon. And it is really important to talk about this issue because I see you out on the road, your workers are out the road, rain. You're out there cleaning up, you're out there. So let's talk about piling up of garbage and the potential this has in terms of environmental concerns and what has been happening in terms of the disposal of the hurricane debris.
All right, so thanks again, Adrian. Thanks for having me. The hurricane has passed, thank God. We are able to get out Thursday morning and start working immediately. This is not an NSWMA effort only. A lot of agencies are out. A whole of government approach to ensure that we can bring back normalcy as quickly as possible. Now, with regards to the debris that you were focusing on, the important thing is that there's debris all over the place, and it's understandable. What's also important is that we will get to everyone. We will eventually, but we can't get to everyone at once. So I want to just encourage calm and understanding in this time. We are out on almost a 24-hour basis, trying to reach the debris wherever they are. We have all our operations across the island focusing extensively on debris management. Thank goodness we just got 10 extra tipper trucks that boosts our capacity significantly over what we only had 5 before. Now we got another 10, so we have 15 tipper trucks of our own spread out across the various regions. And we also engage private tipper trucks to help in this exercise. We have adequate amount of chainsaws and machetes and so on. And everyone is activated in terms of our management team, in terms of our public cleansing team, and we will not relent until we clean the place up.
And this is to ensure that it is done in a timely fashion.
Absolutely.
As quickly as possible.
Absolutely, because we are dealing with a very impatient public.
Yes.
People, it's like a microwave environment. People want it now. So we're trying to do that, always observing our realities too, that we do have limitations. The crew get tired. We have to pull them from time to time for rest. Myself get tired, get tired and so on. But we have to just keep going as best we can and know that we have a job to do and we serve a public that is deserving of the best environment possible.
Yes. Earlier you mentioned about it's not a NWC job alone. NSWMA job alone. So let's look at the whole issue of coordination. So there's partnerships that you afford with other organizations or agencies across this country to ensure that you manage the increase of garbage, the volume after Hurricane Beryl. Talk to us a little bit about that coordination.
All right, so firstly, I must emphasize that there are 2 types of collections going on now. The regular garbage collection, which is exclusively the NSWMA, that's your domestic garbage, but you also have the garbage resulting from the Hurricane Beryl, which is mostly trees that have fallen, branches and other debris that would have been blown from wherever they are. And we have to get them together and get them off our streets also and out of our communities. So with that, we have seen where the NWA is out there. We have seen fire. Fire was out from early, as you know. I think the first set of trees that were cut in terms of cutting up to clear roads and to create one lane. I think the fire department played a tremendous role there. And I wouldn't want the NSWMA to be here harping up the credits and so on without acknowledging that there's a lot of other agencies that run out and did and still doing their bit.
Yeah. Now, the whole issue of there must be a schedule that has been put in place by the NSWMA in terms of the frequency. talk to us, shed some light on that in terms of the collection post-hurricane.
All right. So we would have fallen a little behind in terms of our regular domestic collections. Obviously, we had to pull the trucks from about 11 o'clock the Wednesday. Burial came the Wednesday evening. We pulled from about 11 o'clock the Wednesday. We woke up Thursday morning, did the assessment, and then we started rolling Thursday afternoon again. So we would have missed a complete 24 hours of collection. Now, in our thing where we do have challenges before the hurricane, to stop for extended period like 24 hours is big, because that means that we would have lost a day, day and a half in terms of real trucks turning around in communities. You know, truck go out, it spend a few hours to get loaded and then it go back in. So when we lose 24 hours, a lot for us. And we are now playing catch up with that to get back all the communities. And the good thing is, since then we were able to get 3 of the regions back into single digit backlog, and the challenge is still in Kingston and St. Andrew because of the heavy density of the population here.
Yes.
So we still have some challenges.
Speak a little bit more about those challenges that you're facing with regards to the garbage collection.
Right. So the main challenge now is the pockets where we don't have the discipline to properly containerize the garbage as it should. I make this comparison every time. 1 bag of garbage scattered out give us more trouble than 20 bags of garbage properly containerized. Because when it's properly containerized, our crew come, they just take it up, put it in the truck, put it in the truck, and we're moving. When it's scattered, we have to rake it up, put it into, get it into the truck. All that time we are detained. The truck is in full throttle. It's using diesel fuel. And we are not making progress because we're not going anywhere. So the next neighbor or your next community is deprived of collection because we are stuck doing cleanup work. The truck that we dispatch, the crew on that truck, they weren't sent out to do cleanup work. They were sent out to collect garbage. When we are finding that they are detained too much doing cleanup work, and that's a real problem for us, which is why sometimes we end up having the backlogs in the densely populated areas, because the detailed work that has to be done to clean up the place set back the operation.
All right, we're going to continue the discussion, Mr. Gordon. We're going to take a break right now. The discussion will continue with Audley Gordon, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm still talking with Audley Gordon, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. And we moved away from collection in terms of debris and the challenges that you face. We're going to move right into talking about the hazards and safety in removing all those debris. How is the agency doing all of that, taking into consideration hazardous material and some materials that are perhaps too large?
Oh, it's good. So the main hazard now is where you have down utility poles intertwined with debris. But the truth is not as scary as it could have been, because you know that the JPS would have disconnected lights. Well, light is coming back now, but we have the light coming back after most of those areas are cleared anyway. But you have, that would be a major concern for us in the initial stage. But once we are assured that there's no current in the area, then we could move freely around. We don't encounter much more hazard in terms of, because usually we are sticking to roadways, we don't encounter much more hazard. Where there are issues like you would see in a container or so on that look like it could contain chemical, we're always cautious. Even if it's dirty water, we are very careful how we handle anything that has chemical in it, and so on. And so we pretty much, we're getting by pretty good. What the challenge is that a lot of people are relying on the NSWMA to come for every bit of tree that they pull down, even people who could afford to organize their removal. And we have seen where people have organized their removal and have taken it to the disposal site. we have probably the most reasonable tipping fee in the world. It's at $1,000 to enter our disposal site. And so we're urging residents that if you can even group up with your neighbor, few of you, get a pickup, get a truck, and move out some of this stuff for yourself. We'll be happy to get that kind of partnership also.
Yeah.
And so on, because there are a lot of communities who are doing that, I must tell you. But we have seen where people are calling us in some communities that I know they can do something on their own and free us up to go into the other pockets. And I know the conversation will then morph into sort of talking, say we pay with taxes and so on. We know all that, but in these kinds of environment, when we have emergencies such as this, partnerships are important, and we encourage that.
Yeah, I'm happy that you're able to touch on that, because I'll just segue into whatever else we're going to talk about. Because citizens have a responsibility to ensure that they play their part, to ensure that the environment is safe and clean.
Absolutely.
Not just for themselves, but others who use it.
Right.
Any other tips or recommendations that you would make to these residents?
Just to emphasize on personal responsibility, because the truth is, it doesn't matter how well we get out there and do the best job we can, unless we have personal responsibility at source, where people take responsibility for the solid waste that they generate, then we will have a challenge cleaning up Jamaica. And in taking responsibility, I must speak to the careless and wanton littering that we see all over Jamaica. We clean the town centers every morning. You go, you see a clean town centers until it starts getting populated. Yes. You see it just deteriorate right back into pretty much a mini disposal site. Even halfway through here, we were in there cleaning up on the morning of the hurricane, because there's so much loose garbage around the Mandela Park and all around, you know. So I'm saying, if you're using a town center, whether you be a taxi driver, whether you be a bus driver, a pedestrian, a vendor, a store owner, whatever, understand that you have a duty, to keep your surrounding clean.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter where you are. So we want to encourage that. We want to ask people to be more responsible when they have to venture out and take care of the community, the environment. Keep the solid waste that you generate on your person until you have a bin, or you can take it with you home. If you have a car, you have a little bag in your car that you can keep it in, and when you reach where you can responsibly dispose of it, you do so. Don't throw it to the windows of the car, because travel waste is also a problem. And you travel all over Jamaica, you stop on any of the thoroughfare, look at the side of the road, you will see lunch boxes, a water bottle, juice bottle, and all that. Now, you say, oh, sure, when I dirty up, somebody get a job to clean up. Good. But when the rain falls, the water comes, that garbage swims in the water, find its way into your culvert, clog it up, and cause the big flooding.
And that affects you,
the
one who contributed
and
to
then
the
you start to
problem,
cry that your neighbor house get flooded out, and the water and damage the furniture, or sometimes loss of lives. So we have a duty to just be responsible with even that little juice bottle, that little juice box, little lunch bar. Don't toss it out just like that. Don't just drop it, because when you do that, you could very well be contributing to the next flood. Yeah.
And so there are individuals who are watching who would want to be a part of the general NSWMA cleaning up efforts. How can they, be of support as opposed to be a hindrance?
Absolutely. You just need to, if you see loose garbage anywhere around you, bag it up. Because you could, you partner with your neighbor, get some bags, and you just clip and bag it up. We'll come for it.
Absolutely.
So just as simple as that.
This has been a timely and very, very important conversation. I wish you all the very best with you and your team as you go across this country to ensure that, the place is clean and people can move about freely again. Thank you. Well, that's all the time we have for today. We've been having a discussion with Audley Gordon, Executive Director of the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA. This has been Get the Facts. Do join us again next week, same time, same place, for another engaging discussion. Until then, do take care.